Okay, I guess we'll get started. Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Dabaieh and I am the head of marketing at CEQUENS. And I am thrilled to welcome you to our second installation of the connectors, where we share knowledge and innovative ideas on the latest in what's happening in enterprise, CPaaS, and beyond. Today, I'm honored and delighted to introduce a very valuable colleague of mine, Dabaieh. Hams is the head of customer success at CEQUENS and brings over 20 years of expertise to the industry. She's worked with large-scale enterprises like IT Works and startups like Incorta before joining CEQUENS full-time. She is also a very passionate leader and mentor in the startup community who values fortifying the customer success stories so that companies can get started on the right foot. And now, without further ado, I hand it over to Hams. Thank you, Hams.
Thank you, Dana, for the introduction. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about how to build like a system that's working for retaining, expanding, and provide a sustainable growth for your organization. And I would like to start with that actually most startups are not failing because they cannot acquire customers. It's usually the easiest part to get your customers on board, but the failure comes when you cannot keep or sustain those customers within your organization and be able to grow them. And this is where customer success comes in. So during the early days, customer success wasn't well known in the industry, and an organization like Salesforce is the one who realized the importance of taking care of customers after closing the sale and making sure that there is someone who's taking care of their business outcomes and making sure that they achieve it. And there's actually a great misconception around many companies that the customer success, it's like support, while both teams are actually having two different roles. Support is usually triggered by tickets when customers can reach out to the organization and start mentioning that they are having problems using your product or services. So this is where only support starts to step in. So it's kind of a reactive model. They come in, solve customer incidents. It's always measured by resolution time, like how much they spent to resolve a customer problem, and they have the cost center mindset. While customer success is a different story. It's basically a proactive approach. Their objective is mainly to definitely satisfy the customer, provide them with a good experience so that eventually they can grow and stay with your organization as long as possible. So the customer success should own the customer outcomes. They must understand, and you must have a definition for what does outcome mean to your customer and what does success means to your customer, and have your customer success teams own that. They are responsible for driving the adoption. By adoption, we mean is that they are training your customers or making them able to use your product seamlessly without showstoppers or without any friction. And as a customer success organization, it's always measured by the NRR. We will get into this metric more into details in the upcoming slide, but it's a metric that is well known in the industry, and it's a standard metric used by customer success teams, which is net revenue retention. It basically measures the retention and the expansion that you do with your customers while minimizing the churn. Churn means losing customers or losing revenue coming from customers. And at the end, customer success is a revenue generating function. It's not a cost center, because by taking care of your customers, you will ensure that your customers' revenue is maintained and also is growing by time. So across the customer lifecycle, customer success role, it spans across the different stages. It's not only building the first impression, or it's not only onboarding your customer and training them to use the product, but it should be like an involvement across the whole life cycle. So the onboarding is definitely the most important stage in the whole customer life cycle, because successful onboarding is what will lead your customers to stay. They will see the first value at a very early stage, and that would actually encourage them to continue the journey with you. And that's why I always advise startups to invest very heavily on the onboarding. They must have a very strong onboarding framework because this is the foundation for everything coming next. The next stage, which is the adoption, where your customers should build habits to use your platform. So imagine it like when you start thinking about sending an email, the first thing that comes to your mind is that you open Outlook and start writing your emails. This is how you form habits for using the service or the outcome that you want to achieve. And this is also a role that the customer success has to ensure that your clients is actually building habits on your platform and building what we call stickiness in their usage. The next stage is the engagement. This is where your customer success team should ensure a continuous engagement throughout your customer base. And that doesn't mean that they have to get in contact with each and every customer, like do an in-person communication. This can also be kind of a digital involvement as well. It's according to the segment of your customers. So if you are having different segments, whether you are segmenting your customers with the revenue they are generating or according to the customer size, you will definitely need to have different playbooks for the engagement of each. And you must provide proper engagement level to the top customers or the top tier customer, those who are providing your organization with the top revenue amounts. And you need to have like a sustainable engagement and continuous engagement along the journey. And this is also where the customer success teams step in. During the engagement, actually, customer success team starts to realize where are the opportunities for expansion. They understand the customer use case, they can understand the customer organization structure, and accordingly, they will identify if they can introduce more use cases or expanded use cases across the different teams or offering a new service. So it depends on the product nature. But this is where customer success can start identifying expansion opportunities or encourage customer to spend more using their service. And the expansion will not be able to come unless you ensure that they are properly onboarded, they are using your platform regularly, and that you are engaging with them, ensuring that they are getting the best outcome out of using your product. And the final stage is the renewal. This is where you ensure actually a long-term and an extended period of service continuation to your customers. And it's an indicator of that your customers are happy with your service and they are willing to spend more with you. But what are the metrics that every customer success organization should be monitoring? The most common and most standard metrics are the churn rate, the net revenue retention, as we mentioned earlier, and also the time to value. So for all startups, they need to make sure that they at least start with one metric of those, make sure they understand how to calculate it and how to monitor it, and then start to analyze the results. So the standard customer churn rate is 5% along all your customer base. A larger number than that means definitely that you are having problems. So you need to start investigating what are the churn reasons for your customers. Is it a price-related matter? Is it a product-related matter? Or it's the customer experience overall? So identifying the churn reasons is a great feedback and a valuable feedback for you to understand how to maintain your customers and how to avoid further losses. The next metric, which is a very important one that we talked about, which is the net revenue retention. And the standard KPI or target for customer success teams is usually to maintain and grow their existing customers by 120%. So and above. Some companies are reaching even better numbers than that. And in previous organizations, I have actually reached percent in CEQUENS and in previous organizations as well, because the teams were actually focusing on what important to their customers. They tailored the journey for them, and accordingly, they are able to help them achieve the customer success outcomes, and accordingly, the customers are willing to spend more with your organization. So again, what does 120% means? It means that you are able to maintain 100% of your customer revenue, and you identified extra opportunities or expanded opportunity with a 20%. And when the churn comes in, you are compensating the amount of churn that you have experienced by generating more revenue with customers. So NRR is making sure that you are maintaining your customer base, compensating for churn, and also driving growth. And this is where the value of the customer success teams comes in, because the expansion that's happening in this part is always driven by value rather than just selling a new thing for your customer. They have to realize the value to be able to spend more. The last and important metric, which is the time to value, it needs to be less than 14 days. What does it mean? It means that your customers need to see value within a very short time after signing up with you. If this duration became longer, it's very likely that they will churn at the very early stage in their customer journey with you. So that's why we always encourage startups and all organizations to focus on the onboarding stage and to make sure that their customers realize their first value within a very short time, because that's the initial indicator and that's the initial impressions that they get from using your product. When they start realizing that they are getting value out of it, they are more likely to continue with you. There are more metrics that are standard and that is measured widely, but for someone who is starting things out and want to build like a solid framework, you need to make sure that you start with those three. Build one, start measuring it, make sure it's accurate, analyze the data properly, and then move to the next. So how you can start without a team? So as we mentioned, customer success is more of a mindset rather than a team named customer success. So starting from the founder, you need to have this kind of mindset that you are keen about what success looks like to your customers. And you can actually take the role of a customer success until you build a suitable number of customers that are live and using your platform. So if you are just starting things out and you have a couple of customers on board, you can have the space and capacity to talk to every customers and onboard them personally and understand what success actually looks like for them. But when actually you need to hire a CSM, you need to hire a CSM when you can no longer be able to give 30 minutes of your time per week for your customers to listen to their feedback, to understand where they are at their journey with your product and whether they need support, further support, or they are struggling with anything. Once you reach this stage, which is basically if you have a customer base of more than 20 customers, you need to start hiring for a CSM team. But before you do that, you need to have like a solid playbook built for them before they arrive, so they understand what they should be doing, what they need to look, what metric they need to look for their customers, how to be able to monitor the customer behavior, how to be able to identify whether this customer is in a healthy shape or not. So those playbooks needs to be in place before the first CSM arrives. And the third step that you need to make sure it's there is the seamless handover between the sales team and the CS and support, and also the pre-sales team. If you have a pre-sales team in your cycle, they need to be involved. You need to have like common understanding of what a definition of a healthy customer. They need to have a shared matrix. So success for sales team is the same thing for the customer success and support. You need to have a common mindset across all departments, so you ensure that your customer is getting a proper experience. And one important thing is that you need to make sure that you have like a documentation or a checklist that the sales team is going through when they handshake the customer to the customer success, because it's very important that customers don't feel they are transitioning from a team to another. They already have dealt with the sales team and they built a kind of relationship, and they need to feel the same with the new person introduced to them, as the customer success was going to look after their account. And most importantly, they don't need to repeat themselves again with the customer success. So make sure that whenever a customer success engagement is being done, they totally understand the background about the customer, their pain areas, why they bought the products, whether there are other competitors they have dealt with. All of this information must be shared from the sales to the customer success, because it definitely reflects later on the customer experience overall. So speaking about AI, and after you you have a proper number of customers and you are able to scale out, you need to make sure that you are also leveraging the AI, because today no one is able to grow and to scale out without the help of the AI. So, but when actually we can use AI without affecting customer experience. So across the different stages, AI can help you in stage one with the onboarding. For example, you can automate the workflows. You can automate the welcome workflows. Whenever your customer is signing up to your service, they receive, for example, a welcome email and a list of where they can turn to for a specific problem or a billing problem. It's kind of an automated information that can be automatically without having to have a team doing that manually for your customers. You can also leverage AI for generating setup guides or user guides for your clients. Now there are so many tools that can help with that automation. So also maintaining those guides and making them up to date after the evolution of your product or after every release, it's also something that AI can support. And you can build some smart task reminders that can actually remind your team to follow up with your clients and maintain a good engagement. During the adoption phase, where AI can help, it can help you analyze the customer usage and detect if there is any problems with your customer whenever there is a usage drop or something that needs attention. It can also help by introducing AI to send like an automatic tips for your customers at a specific stage, or whenever they finish a specific tasks, it can give them tips to encourage them to use the next feature and so on. Definitely AI chatbots are now widely used. At CEQUENS, we provide also AI chatbots for our clients and for ourselves to help our customers. Something like frequently asked questions is very easy to build and can actually help your team to focus on the most important things. It can help the customer success as well as the support and have their time most used in the most efficient part without having to repeat answering frequent customer questions. During the engagement level or the engagement stage with your customer, you can actually leverage AI by doing kind of a sentiment analysis. This can be done on the touch points that you log with your customers. So any communication that's going out for your customers and also the customer tickets. So AI can analyze all the customer interactions and accordingly give you like signals whether your customers are in a good shape or that they actually needs more support or more help or more attention for them to overcome their problems. It can also help with generating QBRs. You can provide templates for the AI and it can connect to your customer data, and according to the services that they are subscribed in and the progress that they have made, it can generate QBR decks for you, as well as the well-known bots and services that can engage with meetings with the CSMs and anyone who's doing customer communication to provide meeting summaries and also suggest the next actions for follow-ups. During the expansion cycle, and it's something that we have recently adopted at CEQUENS and we have built it in-house, is that you can build kind of a mechanism that signals an upsell opportunity. So how this can be done, you can train the AI to look for specific signal and design it to build a score for your customers. And according to this score, it will suggest if this customer is suitable for this kind of an opportunity. So it searches for some keywords in the tickets that the customer is submitting. And it looks for the customer usage, how they are using the platform, what features they are using, and understands the use case of the customer. And accordingly, based on this behavior and other customers' behavior, like we train the AI to understand when the customer is, for example, using those features or having this use case, he's lucky to have an additional use case that looks like that. And according to this algorithm and scoring, it defines like new opportunities and signals them for the team. So that's a huge thing that can help you grow your customers with less effort by AI detecting those opportunities, and then your CS team can start evaluating those opportunities and act upon them whenever they feel that it's something that worth visiting. It can also auto-draft expansion pitches. So according to the analysis and data that is being pulled out from customer behavior, they can also build an expansion pitch that CSMs can use for introducing the new service or product to your clients. And the final stage, which is the renewal stage, AI can definitely be used for churn prediction. There are signs where you can define also and train your AI to predict that would signal that this customer is not going to renew due to those problems, or there is a drop in usage, for example. It can also help you with building a forecast model, like how many customers are likely to renew, with which confidence level, and which is likely to churn. And it can definitely prepare any renewal briefs or like a proposal for customers that CSMs can directly use. So to start adopting AI, you can pick a specific stage where you can see that there are some repeated behavior that you can start leveraging AI to automate it, and keep monitoring that and enhance it, measure it, and then move to the next initiative. Like, don't start with so many initiatives at once. You need to test it with something that you will find value adding AI to it, and make sure that your CSM team is always engaged in escalations, in problems, because leveraging AI in that, or like introducing a bot that would deal with escalations, will actually increase customer frustration rather than helping you out. So be careful that using AI is where customers won't notice that it's an automation or a bot that's talking to them. At this stage, you need to keep the human touch available. So with that, we need to leverage that customer success is definitely a mindset. It's not only a department, or customer success can be the mindset of the whole organization, starting from the founder until the billing team and the support teams. They all have to adapt the customer success mindset. It's not just the CS department, because the customer success department works with all the organization departments to advocate for their customers. And this is where actually the customer experience is built. So growth comes from where your customers, from the customers that you can keep, and you can keep your customers by providing them with a good customer experience, a good product that would actually help them succeed using it. And this is where you can maintain and grow your business. So I think we are almost running out of time, but I'll check if we can have any questions that anyone has shared, and we can go through them quickly. Okay, so we have a question regarding how can, if I want to pick like only one CS initiative, and what can I start with? So basically, building an onboarding playbook is the first thing that you should focus on, because as we have mentioned earlier in the presentation, that customer onboarding is the most important stage, and you must have a solid foundation for that. So if you are going to invest in the onboarding playbook, it definitely, you're going to realize the highest ROI for that. And it's very crucial for customers to have a seamless onboarding experience, because as we mentioned, this is where they are likely to continue with you the cycle, and this is a good indicator that they want to continue with you. If they have a successful onboarding, then they are likely to continue and to spend more with your business. So that would be my recommendation for something that you should invest in. There's another question regarding like what we actually have applied in CEQUENS and what were the results, like a real example from CEQUENS. So at the beginning of, when I started building the customer success organization, we actually had a large churn rate. And we started with a 20% churn rate in some of the segments that we had. So the first thing, we started to collect the churn reasons and why actually the customers are churning. And we started analyzing that and build initiatives with the different departments, because it's definitely something that every department is contributing at. So we analyzed the churn reasons, and we went for each department responsible for those reasons. And we started working with them, providing customer feedback, and started measuring again whether customers are satisfied with the changes, with the support they are being provided, with the communication level that they are getting, and so on, according to the pain areas that they have expressed. And we have witnessed that churn is reducing, and like the curve was turning down from 20%, and now we have reached the 5% target that we are maintaining so far. And that was a real example of something that we have focused on until we managed to drop the churn rate by time. So as we are running out of time, if you have any further questions, you can definitely reach out to CEQUENS website and submit your query there, and we will be getting back to you. Thank you for your time. Dana, you are muted if you are speaking.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Hams. That was really helpful. Well, have a fantastic day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay.